What up, everybody? This is your boy Dedrian Colon from House of Rasslin, and this is my review for the May 12th episode of Impact Wrestling on Access TV. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Follow House of Rasslin on all social media platforms. Follow me, Dedrian180, on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram. And give this video a thumbs up on YouTube. Man, tonight's episode of Impact Wrestling, man, it was fun. It added more intrigue as we head to Slammiversary. I believe it's next month. This was a fun episode of Impact Wrestling. I know I've been saying that for the past several weeks. Last week I was unable to do the review for Impact Wrestling because, one, it was my birthday. I wasn't feeling well, and earlier in the day I was getting tickets for the New Japan AEW Forbidden Door show. So I woke up really early trying to get tickets, which thankfully I wound up getting tickets. So that day was just a very chaotic day, and I planned on doing the review, and it just didn't come. I was just like, you know what, I am exhausted. I just can't do it. So for those of you who look forward to my Impact Wrestling reviews weekly, forgive me, but I'm here. So yeah. Just to give you guys a heads up, if you do not see a review of any kind, usually I'm just tired. Like, it's not that I don't want to do it, it's just I am just too tired, and I don't want to give you guys a subpar review and just go through the motion, just put a review just to do it. It's like, that's just not me. So just to give you guys a heads up. But man, tonight's episode of Impact Wrestling, this was fun. I enjoyed it. One thing I'm noticing on Impact Wrestling, I haven't heard too much from New Japan Pro Wrestling. I should ask my buddy Josh Lopez, what's going on with the Bullet Club in Japan. But what I'm noticing is the Bullet Club, ever since they kicked Tama Tonga and Tangaloa out of the Bullet Club, they've been losing a lot of matches. Like, they're just losing. Like, granted, they come out, they're doing a too sweet, and I'm a fan of Bullet Club and all those guys and everything, and even the former members, but they've been losing a lot. And I'm asking myself the question, like, are we headed towards some like breakup where everybody breaks up? Is it something where a former leader is going to take control of Bullet Club and, somewhat trim the fat and get everybody on the same page of, what Bullet Club was? Are they waiting for Finn Balor to, his contract to come up and he's going to come back to Bullet Club and get all the people back together? I don't know what is going to happen, but it does feel like something is, something like just, how do I put it? I don't want to say transformative, but just something that's going to shock people, that's going to happen with Bullet Club. Like, oh my God, I did not see this coming, and holy crap, this makes sense. That's how I see it. And the reason why I say that is the first match tonight was Kenny King and Chris Bay. This was a solid match. Of course, Kenny King trained Chris Bay. This was a nice match to open up the night. I love Chris Bay's work. Kenny King, I like his work in Ring of Honor. This was one of those matches that you want to start the program off with, just to get things moving, get things in motion and everything. Just build up that energy. And this was that match. What I liked about this match was more on commentary, and it was a slight digs that Maria Kanellis and Matthew Weholden, I hope I'm pronouncing his name right. Formerly, he was with WWE. He was Rusev's announcer and everything. Man, I don't know why I can't remember his name in WWE. But the slight digs they were taking with Chris Bay, like, oh, he's a fanboy of Bullet Club, and Bullet Club is a glorified merch brand. They haven't done anything, which that's why I brought up, like, man, what's happening with Bullet Club? Like, are we headed towards, something like a rebuild, or just something that's going to take place where things are just going to get back to the original. Maybe. But man, Kenny King won this match. Pretty, like, it was surprising that he won the match. Chris Bay, of course, he performed the sliced bread. But Kenny King performed his finisher, the flush. And I believe that's what it's called. And it was crazy because Chris Bay was on the top rope and Maria Kanellis kind of distracted him. He kicked him, did the flush, 1, 2, 3, and I was like, man, I'm like, Bullet Club's been losing a lot, man. Like, what's going on here, man? Like, they've been losing a lot, and it just feels like Bullet Club right now is just, it does feel like it's nostalgia. But, like, right now, the members are, like, they ain't doing shit. Like, nobody's getting wins. They're just losing. And, you know, maybe they'll bring it into a story like, hey, ever since we got rid of these guys, you know, Tama Tonga and Tangaloa, we haven't won anything. So it's like, like I said, is a former leader going to take over? Kenny Omega? Just saying. I don't know. Something's going to happen in the next month or so with the Bullet Club. We'll see what happens at Forbidden Door. After this, you had a backstage segment with Giselle, Shaw, and Alicia. Alicia was knocking on the door. Hey, come on in, come on in. I like these two. They have a pretty good chemistry. They play off each other well. And this was a cool segment just to transition to the match. They went to commercial. They come back. This was for the Knockout Tag Team titles. You had Giselle, Shaw, and Alicia versus The Influence, Madison Rayne, and Tenille Dashwood. Again, a solid match. It wasn't very physical. It was somewhat technical to an extent. There was a few instances in the match where Giselle Shaw, she missed a tag, and there was a miscue between her and Alicia, where Alicia gave her a shoulder to the stomach and knocked her out, and that whole thing. And eventually, The Influence won. I like this Knockouts division. I like it. I don't know what they're going to do with the Knockouts tag team titles. I'm not saying they're going to get rid of them, but it does feel like they're kind of like putting the, I don't want to say pause, but it does feel like they're slowing down the challengers for the Influence, for the Impact Knockouts tag team titles, to, you know, get some contenders there and everything. Because, man, the Influence, they're a pretty solid tag team. Of course, you abruptly had the Inspiration, you know, leave because they were pursuing other opportunities and stuff. So just a lot of things going on that it's going to work out. And I do got to say this, that Impact Wrestling, they have, I would say they're the promotion that's utilized their women's division the most in the last year. They've done a better job than WWE, AEW. Trying to think of another promotion that has a women's division. I know MLW is building up their women's featherweight division, but that's, you really can't count them. But Impact Wrestling is doing a better job utilizing their women talent than WWE and AEW. And I know some people watch this, what do you mean they're utilizing their talent better than the WWE women's division? You watch Impact Wrestling for the last few months, and by few months, I'm talking about 5 months or so. Deonna Purrazzo has been killing it. Jordan Grace, Tasha Steelz, Mickie James. They've been doing some stuff. And let's face it, Mickie James was one of the major reasons why people were interested in the Women's Royal Rumble match this year. Outside of that, you take Mickie James out, there was not barely any interest into the Women's Royal Rumbles match because she was included. There you go. So from there, we get a video of Violent by Design, and Eric Young is just basically, he's going to take what's his. Then we go to a promo with Gail Kim. I like what she was talking about when she gave this promo, because this match, this is going to be a sweet-ass match. I believe it's going to be at Slammiversary. Yes, it is going to be at Slammiversary. She basically broke down that at Slammiversary, we're going to be celebrating 20 years of Impact Wrestling. There's going to be, you have the King of the Mountain match, but now they're going to have the Queen of the Mountain match, which for me, this match is selling me for Slammiversary because of participants. So in this match, she said we're going to get Tasha Steelz, Chelsea Green, Jordynne Grace, and Deonna Purrazzo. And before she could get to the last participant, Tasha Steelz comes out and she's telling her, no, I know who the last participant is. You know, you ain't got to say it. It's going to be Savannah Evans. You know, she's going to be in the match, blah, blah, blah. And Gail Kim's like, no, it's going to be Mia Yim. So, yes, we're going to get Tasha Steelz, Chelsea Green, Jordynne Grace, Deonna Purrazzo, and Mia Yim in the Queen of the Mountain match. That is going to be a badass match. So, as Gail Kim announced that Mia Yim was added to the match, Mia Yim came to the ring, and before she could do anything, Deonna Purrazzo just attacked her. So you had Deonna Purrazzo attack Mia Yim as she was attacking Tasha Steelz and everything. Then you had Taya Valkyrie and Jordynne Grace assist Mia Yim in the beatdown or the brawl with Tasha Steelz, Savannah Evans, and Deonna Purrazzo. And they announced on tonight's episode, so next week we're going to get Mia Yim, Taya Valkyrie, and Jordynne Grace versus Savannah Evans, Tasha Steelz, and Deonna Purrazzo. That is going to be a dope 6-woman tag match next week on Impact Wrestling. I'm excited to watch that match. Like I said, Impact Wrestling's women's division has been probably the most consistent, the most well booked, and the best utilized. Like, they've utilized their women's roster better than WWE and AEW. And I know people are like, no, they didn't. Quit going on names and look at the quality. The quality that Impact Wrestling has been doing with the women's division, with their women's division, the Knockouts division, has been really good. And they lost a lot of women last year, and they wound up replenishing that talent with new, fresh talent to stock up on that division. And kudos to them. That is, for me personally, Impact Wrestling has the best women's division in all of professional wrestling. You can't deny it. You can't deny it with Deonna Purrazzo's reign, Mickie James' reign, Tasha Steelz, Chelsea Green, of course, with the addition of Giselle Shaw. We're still not factoring in when they're going to pull the trigger and elevate Masha Slamovich, Havoc, Rosemary. You know, all the man. There's talent there, and I gotta say, like, they've utilized their women's roster better than AEW and WWE in the last half year or so. Just saying. From there, we get a backstage segment with Swann. He's in the gauntlet for the gold. Then the next match is Bullet Club's Jay White and El Phantasmo versus Tomohiro Ishii and Josh Alexander. I like this match. I will say this. This match, I seen more backbreaks in this particular match than I've seen in probably the last 15, 20 years in all of professional wrestling. Hands down, I've seen more backbreaks in this match. And it was pretty cool because the way they did it, Jay White and El Phantasmo, it was so creative how they did something, a move that's been around since the inception of wrestling, the back rake. And there was a point where he would tag him in and he'd jump and slowly back rake. El Phantasmo, how he bounces off the ropes, he flipped and then slowly, it was like, yo, this is some creative ways to execute the back rake move. But man, this was a good match. It was basically your, I don't want to say standard, but just your typical power versus speed and agility. And usually when that clash happens, the guy whose speed tries to outmaneuver the guy who's powerful, and when the guy who's powerful catches him, he just beats the crap out of him, which is what happened with Tomohiro Ishii and Josh Alexander. I like the ending where Jay White and El Phantasmo were trying to get the upper hand on Tomohiro Ishii. Josh Alexander cut him off and stayed inside the ring, making sure that Jay White didn't get into the ring. Tomohiro Ishii did his finisher, which is that, the guy's on the mat, and he just, man, that heavy-ass clothesline, man, I could not take that. No, could not take it. So they win, 1, 2, 3. Josh Alexander and Tomohiro Ishii win. Like I said, I don't know what the hell's going on with Bullet Club, but ever since they kicked Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa, and I believe, oh man, who was it? Ghetto? I believe they kicked out Ghetto too. Yeah, Ghetto was the guy that was with GOD. Ever since they kicked them out, Bullet Club has been losing a lot of matches. I'm not saying all their matches, but if there is a percentage, they've been losing like 85, 90% of their matches. So, like I said, I don't know what's going to happen, what's going to transpire. You do have the Forbidden Door. Of course, Jay White was on AEW television. This is going to be, still our era. The Undisputed Elite and the Bullet Club. Like I said, is a former member going to take over? My suspicions is what I think might happen is I think Jay White's going to get kicked out of the Bullet Club, and I strongly believe Adam Cole might be the new leader of Bullet Club. I just have that suspicion. That's not I'm not saying it's factoring thing, but that's just what I think might happen. That Adam Cole might be the new leader of Bullet Club, or Kenny Omega might come back as the new leader of Bullet Club. So something's got to give, because the Good Brothers are in there and they're cool with Omega. So that's why I'm leaning more towards Omega. But that's what I think might happen with Bullet Club, because they're losing too many matches, and they've lost a lot of matches. I think, how do I put it? The amount of matches they lost has to be like the most that they've lost in the last 2-3 years or something like that. So it's like, something's got to give. Something's happening with Bullet Club. So I don't know what's going to happen. We'll see. Then we get the main event, which is the Gauntlet for the Gold. Forgive me for saying that. I'm mispronouncing it. So the winner faces Josh Alexander at Slammiversary. This whole match, man, I loved it. It was similar to the... I forgot the name of the match in New Japan. The something Rumble. Damn it, they have it at Wrestle Kingdom, where everyone comes in. It's like a Royal Rumble, and then the last two guys, it's pinfall or what have you. But man, this was a fun match. They utilized everyone. I recommend you guys check this match out because it was so fun. The spots in between the match that happened where William Morrissey and just the whole spots, man. This was done very well, and man, I'm looking forward to who the winner of this match will be and go on to face Josh Alexander. But I'm gonna get into who won this match right now. So we had Chris Sabin and Alex Shelley who started this match off. Then we had Eddie Edwards in the match. We had Vincent from Honor No More. We had Macklin. We had Shark Boy, which I was like, whoa, Shark Boy. I figured he returned because I did see him at Under Siege. So I was like, yeah, he's there. But to see him in the Gauntlet match, I was like, oh my God, this is a blast from the past. Like, he was so funny back in the day when he started with in TNA's early days. So cool to see him. We had Rasslin, we had Gujar, we had Shira, we had W. Morrissey, we had Trey Miguel, Eric Young, we had Johnny Swinger. That was funny. Johnny Swinger, he came in on what was like a makeshift, like kind of like a throwback to the WrestleMania 3 carts that brought the wrestlers to the ring. So Zicky Dice is like rolling a small thing, and it had ropes and everything. So he unhooks the ropes, and Johnny Swinger gets in the ring, and he gets tossed out, and he starts doing the Bushwhacker Luke move. It was basically a throwback to when Bushwhacker Luke, I believe, was it Luke or Butch? No, it was Luke. Bushwhacker Luke, when he got tossed out of the, I believe it was the Royal Rumble 90 or 91 by Earthquake, and he got tossed out, and he came in the ring doing the Bushwhacker move, and then he tossed out and went back doing the move. So that was a cool spot. It was a comedic moment. It was fun. You also had Tyrus, you had Heath Slater, you had Moose, you had Rich Swann. Man, I hope I don't pronounce his name. You had Redwalt. I know I'm probably hacking up his name. He was along ringside with Tom. Forgive me, guys. I'm jacking up people's names. Tom Hannigan, and I hope that's his name. So he was at the announce booth, and he takes off his jacket. He gets in the ring, and he tosses people out. But then he got tossed out. You had PCO. The final 4 participants in this match was Moose, Chris Sabin, Macklin, and Eric Young. Halfway through this point, when it got to the final 4, the lights go off, and Sami Callihan. Yes, Sami Callihan has returned. Returned at Under Siege, and he's hunting down Moose, and he just starts beating the crap out of Moose. He eliminates him. So we get to the final 3, which is Macklin, Sabin, and Eric Young. And Macklin was on the ring apron, and Sabin wound up eliminating him. So you had Sabin and Eric Young, and eventually Eric Young executed his pile driver, and Eric Young is going to face Josh Alexander at Slammiversary. I strongly believe it's hard for me to. I wouldn't be surprised if they give the title to Eric Young, because ever since he returned to Impact Wrestling, the guy has been top notch. Like, he's where he was before he left Impact Wrestling and where he is now is miles and miles above that. He's been an anchor in Impact Wrestling, and his stable, Violent by Design, they've done a very good job with that group. They don't feel old, as far as like, oh my God, it's just like move on to something else. Like, they're on TV enough where you care about them, and when they're off TV, it's in a length of time where you don't think like, oh, where's these guys at? Like, you forget about them when they show up. Like, oh shit, I forgot they were like, oh crap, that's Violent by Design. Oh man. But I'm really interested in how this is going to play out with Josh Alexander and Eric Young. That is going to be a really good match. I think the big question is, are we going to get a new champ? Granted, Josh Alexander, he just won the title last month. So it's like, will they switch the title, or is this going to lead to, this is an interesting dilemma, because Eric Young has been on a roll. So it's like he's had a lot of momentum, and what's gonna give? Are we gonna get a new champ, or is Josh Alexander gonna overcome this? So I'm really interested in that match at Slammiversary. We'll see what happens, but man, overall this was a fun show. Pacing, very good. I think maybe they're listening to my reviews. There wasn't any cheesy segments like there were like 3-4 months ago, which I included in my reviews, where it's just like, man, there's some stuff that's cheesy. Hey man, this was a fluid show. It was fun. It was to the point. what I am noticing, there's a lot more people talking about Impact Wrestling. Like, hey man, this is a really good show. So if you're watching this and you're like, man, I don't know if what's happening with Impact Wrestling. Like, oh, Impact Wrestling ain't nothing. Oh, I remember, again, like I said this before on a few Impact Wrestling reviews before. This isn't the Impact Wrestling that you knew like 5 years ago, when they had the Aces and Eights and that stuff. Like, this isn't that Impact. Like, this is this isn't the Impact that was last year. Like, this is a very good wrestling show that I wish they had another 1 hour show where they could, add some more stuff to it. But man, you know what? This for what they do, this is fun. This is another wrestling product that is a complementary alternative to WWE and AEW. Of course, they do work with AEW. It's fun. This is fun, and I'm really intrigued to see what's gonna transpire at Slammiversary with the world title match. Of course, with the Queen of the Mountain match at Slammiversary, and pretty much a host of surprises that they usually have at Slammiversary. Is there going to be an AEW crossover or what have you? I'm looking forward to that. But man, this is an episode. Check it out. Check it out. Yes, check it out. You will enjoy it. So that is my review for the May 12th episode of Impact Wrestling on Access TV. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Follow House of Wrestling on all social media platforms. Follow me, Dedrian180, on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram. And give this video a thumbs up. And like I always say at the end of every video, stop fighting over wrestling. There's so much stuff going on in the world that at least have professional wrestling be an escape to the crazy crap that is going on in the world. And just enjoy it. Enjoy the performers and what they're doing and the work they're doing, because they're doing this because they love professional wrestling. And this art form is a great escape to whatever's going on in the world. That at least for 1 hour or 2 hours or 3 hours, we can escape into it. And let's just enjoy it, man, because we're living in crazy times, and it might get even crazier in the next 2 years. So just enjoy, man. So with that,